Actually, Wayne, I'll take an option on this, and that is, as I mentioned on the federal stimulus package, $860 billion stimulus package. Let me make it very clear here. I didn't support that, and I didn't support it for a simple reason. It's too much money. The stimulus package was proposed to the American people when our national unemployment rate was 7%. It passed the United States Congress when unemployment was 80%. It was promised to the American people that we needed it to prevent unemployment from ever cresting above 8.5%. Today, our national unemployment rate stands at above 10%. Here locally in Hawaii, we see our hotel occupancy rate is the lowest it has been in over a quarter of a century. These types of programs are not what work. We need to change this the direction of Congress. The spending money like no tomorrow, launching multi-billion-dollar stimulus package plans is bad enough. The launching multi-billion-dollar stimulus package program that don't work is even worse.
Thank you.
I have a point. There are billions of dollars that are available right now. Since I am also in business, I know that the stimulus package has gone out to the states and they're available. But most people don't know about them. How come? Because our representatives are not providing this information so that we can take advantage of the billions of dollars that are available. And if it's not done by a certain time, it'll stay in Washington. So one of the ways that it can help us locally is to be aware of it. And as a representative in Congress, that's what I would do. I would make our population aware of these funds that are available so we can use them and we can stimulate our own economy. Thank you.
Thank you. That was Charles Anderson. Councilor Anderson. Anyone else?
Yeah, I think that you can't criticize the stimulus program because it wasn't launched and it wasn't managed properly. We don't really know the answer as to whether or not the stimulus program was funded and was passed by Congress would actually have done what it was intended to do because it's been badly managed in the first place. Stimulus money is necessary when, and I don't think there's a reasonable debate about it, when the economy is in the kind of slide that it was in the last couple of years. What we need to do is manage the stimulus money more properly than we have, and the fault for that falls principally upon both Congress and the administration because of the timing and because of the way that funds were dispersed and the programs they were targeted to. Definitely putting some money into the economy to create jobs is a good plan. It's just how the execution was carried out.
Thank you. That was Rafael Del Castillo. That's a good case.
You know, serving in public office is about making decisions, and serving in Congress is about making huge decisions. Decisions that don't only affect the people of Hawaii, but the country and the world. Serving in Congress is about decisions that affect the world. This was a crisis. Between September 2007 and December 2008, we lost 7 million jobs in this country. Our unemployment in this state went from 3 to 7%. President Bush had a stimulus package. President Obama had a stimulus package. I believe that was necessary. Yes, administered imperfectly, but necessary. One thing about serving in Congress and making these decisions is, if you don't like something, then what is your alternative? What is your alternative? You can't just say no all the time. You have to come up with a constructive alternative. What was the alternative to save this economy? I think the stimulus package had to be implemented.
Thank you.
I'd like to clarify this perception about the stimulus package. You heard earlier that the Hawaii state budget, what we have to do is balance the budget. That budget would not balance but for the stimulus package. In addition to that, the other thing is that if there was an error in the way the stimulus package was administered, I would have to say that the decision was made that it would be administered just through the governor's office. And as a result of that, we did not have the release of stimulus monies as we had expected. We did use FMAP, which is Medicaid, to balance the budget. We are basically counting on that. There's money that came in for unemployment as well. There's money that went to the individual. These are all part of it. And they also stimulated the economy with the construction projects, which we know 126 million went directly to the Department of Transportation. That kept many people working. So to say the stimulus did not work is not true in Hawaii. We just wish that it was more transparent.
Thank you. At this time, we'd like to remind our listeners that this is Hawaii Public Radio, HI-01 FM 89. behind. You're tuned in for a live political debate featuring candidates hoping to represent U.S. Congressional District 1. We're broadcasting from the African Performing Arts Studio. I'm Wayne Yoshida. For our next question, the Obama administration unveiled its public education initiative that essentially dismantles the No Child Left Behind law. A two-part question. How can Congress best address poor public school performance, and will giving states a $4 billion increase in federal assistance result in improvements? Let's begin with Charles Djou.
Wayne, the best way the federal government can help the states, including the state of Hawaii, is stop putting unfunded mandates upon the public education system. While I think the federal government oftentimes is very well intended, what the Congress too often does, it places mandates and instructions upon the public education system, and then doesn't fund them. The No Child Left Behind Act, which I think was very well intentioned, had good objectives, suffered from the fact that Congress told and instructed the states time and again, use A, B, C, and D, but then didn't give any money to them to follow up. Either the federal government has to get out of the business of giving mandates to the state governments, or if it gives these mandates to the state government, it must fully fund them. So this is actually one aspect that I'm in support of the president. I think the president has the right idea of trying to dismantle some of the problematic aspects of No Child Left Behind. Problematic aspects of mandating so many requirements of testing, of changing of schools, without giving sufficient funding for the states to carry out these programs. I like the idea of the administration, the Obama administration, launching their program with Race to the Top, which has forced the states to consider reforming the education system, but following it up with sufficient federal funding. This is the right way to do things. But at its core, Wayne, I don't believe that the primary responsibility for public education should rest with the federal government. Primarily, I believe it should rest with states and the local municipalities. The federal government should not be the driver. Instead, at most, the federal government should have a supporting active role in public education.
Thank you. Rafael Del Castillo.
I definitely think that the president's program is going in the right direction. I think the president understands the two biggest problems in our schools are morale and money. And this program has all of the earmarks of a program that is designed to increase the morale in the schools, which I actually consider to be a larger problem. By dismantling No Child Left Behind, I think the president probably made about 99% of the teachers in the country happy. It was never an appreciated program, and as Charles said, an unfunded mandate. It starts out being unpopular and gets worse as you go along. There are also a lot of criteria in the No Child Left Behind program that schools at the local level either didn't agree with or couldn't meet. And by taking the federal government out of that business and returning more control to the local community, the president has gone in the right direction. I do think that the federal government has to lead in this regard, because we are in a situation where our schools are not addressing the 21st century need in education. And without federal leadership, intelligent federal leadership, such as the president has begun demonstrating with this program, we're not going to prepare our children to compete with children from our competing economies, toe to toe, best prepared to keep America strong. It does filter down to the local communities, but federal leadership is essential year after year in the kind of policies that President Obama has begun initiating to help us address the problems that we face in the 21st century in education.
Thank you. Ed Case.
I served on the House Education Committee during my prior service, which was the years immediately after No Child Left Behind was enacted. And let's look at No Child Left Behind from a positive light. It was one of the rare instances in which there was a bipartisan consensus in Washington between the parties at the time. And the deal was pretty straightforward. We are going to have a higher level of national expectations that we are going to try to achieve. And we are going to assist the states in getting